You were at Jurassic World.
Jurassic World? Not a fan.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the movies whose billion-dollar box office hauls left us scratching our heads. We're not necessarily saying all of these movies are terrible, but we are saying that their limited quality did merit such enormous success.
Curiouser.
Number 10. The Fate of the Furious. There's nothing inherently wrong with giving audiences exactly what they want. Nevertheless, one can point to the Fast and Furious saga's 8th chapter as the moment where Dom Toretto's platitudes about family finally started losing their touch.
You guys ready?
One thing I can guarantee you, Don. No one's ready for this.
The Fate of the Furious doesn't skimp on what makes these movies easy to enjoy, but as the first film to be released after Paul Walker's passing, it frequently struggles to carve out an identity for itself.
Thanks to your botched Berlin job, you all made Interpol's top 10 most wanted list.
Top 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
Well, not you, Roman.
What do you mean?
You just missed the cut. You're number 11. So.
I missed.
The movie tribute paid to the actor in Furious 7 was justifiably cause for celebration, but without an everyman like Brian O'Connor to keep things grounded, the tonal inconsistencies and implausible logic become far more noticeable.
That's $1 million show car. The point is to not draw attention.
It's reverse psychology. Dom will never see it coming.
It's neon orange. The International Space Station would see it coming.
Fate allowed this movie to coast off its built-up fan base rather than its own merits. Number 9. The Hobbit, an unexpected journey.
Mr. Bilbo, where are you off to? I can't stop, I'm already late. Late for what? I'm going on an adventure.
Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy took in nearly $3 billion and a collective 17 Academy Awards, so it was only a matter of time before filmgoers would get to return to Middle-earth once more. While the first Hobbit film's billion-dollar haul made it clear that love still remained, the decision to split a relatively slim novel into 3 films quickly showed signs of weakness.
The odds were always against us. After all, what are we? Merchants, miners, tinkers, toy makers. Hardly the stuff of legend.
While the characters, both old and new, are all mostly likable, the sense of adventure is hampered by endless exposition and a misguided use of CGI to bring certain creatures to life. The action would pick up in later installments, but notably reduced box office receipts indicates that an unexpected journey did not make the greatest first impression.
Well, that could have been worse.
You got to be joking!
Number 8. Aladdin.
Do you trust me?
What did you say?
Do you trust me?
Yes.
Like most of the live-action remakes Disney has tackled, Aladdin flies a magic carpet for nostalgia in its best moments, but is egregiously miscalculated in its worst. It deserved credit for trying something new with the story we all know and love, but the changes it opts for cause it to lose the very magic that made the original so beloved.
You have got to be more confident about what you have to offer.
What do I have to offer?
Despite having everything from an energetic Will Smith to immortal music at its disposal, Aladdin never fully wishes itself free from the shadow of its predecessor. It's more than a little frustrating when something with promise settles for being average and squanders its chance to find its place in our hearts. But you know what they say.
Phenomenal cosmic powers, but itty-bitty living space.
Number 7. Minions. Love 'em or hate 'em, the Minions were a phenomenon in the early 2010s, but they are animated proof that you can have too much of a good thing.
They go by many names. Dave, Carl, Paul, Mike. Oh, that one is Norbert. He's an idiot.
Their hilarious slapstick made them an endearing aspect of the first 2 Despicable Me movies, but their best qualities only emerge when they have a villain to follow. This origin story, which sees the little yellow guy's search throughout history to find the perfect master, is ultimately a harmless and occasionally wholesome adventure.
You're going to have to get through me, the keeper of the crown.
But the comedy isn't as fresh as it once was, with the minions' indecipherable gibberish quickly wearing thin on even the most patient viewer. But when your target audience is kids and they're paying families, sometimes simplicity is the name of the game.
Steal me the crown and all your dreams come true.
Respect. Power.
Banana!
Banana.
Number 6. The Lion King.
What am I gonna do?
Run. Run away, Simba. Run away and never return.
It's no surprise that goodwill toward The Lion King propelled this live-action reimagining to a staggering $1.6 billion in revenue. But that number should be taken with a grain of salt, as it's likely a reflection of how many people saw the movie and not how many times they saw it. Once you remove your nostalgia-tinted glasses, this Lion King has little to offer on the first watch, let alone multiple watches.
Don't be too hard on him, sire. I remember a cub, a certain headstrong cub, who was always getting into scrapes. And he achieved some prominence, did he not, sire?
A beat-for-beat recreation, its startling lack of originality is worsened by its pursuit of realism. While not lacking in technical prowess, its phoned-in performances and CGI'd cast of animals leave it deprived of the soul that makes the original such a timeless classic. We can't feel the love with this one.
His carefree days with us are history. In short, our pal is doomed.
Number 5. Star Wars Episode 9: The Rise of Skywalker.
Rough landing.
I've seen worse.
I've seen better.
Star Wars is always going to do good business, yet it's hard to know who is most responsible for taking the saga to such an egregious low. Regardless of where you stand on The Last Jedi and its bold choices, The Rise of Skywalker did virtually nothing to rectify its predecessor's reputation.
Do you have to say it like that?
Like what?
Do me a personal favor. Be optimistic.
Yes, ma'am. This is terrific. You're not going to believe how well this is going to turn out. It's going to be great.
If the question was whether Episode 9 would finish the established story or give in to viewer demands, the answer was a deafening neither. Entire plot threads were wiped off the slate, while characters we were just getting invested in were practically exiled so that the series could pointlessly resurrect its biggest antagonist.
We've decoded the intel from the First Order spy, and it confirms the worst. Somehow Palpatine returned.
It was an illogical attempt to salvage credibility, and it amounted to one of the least satisfying finales in recent memory. Number 4. Alice in Wonderland.
Look anything like herself. That's because she's the wrong Alice.
If she was, she might be. If she isn't, she ain't. But if she was so, she would be. But she isn't, no how.
How can I be the wrong Alice when this is my dream?
It was the wrong movie at exactly the right time. Alice in Wonderland represented just the kind of mind-expanding 3D adventure people were craving in a post-Avatar landscape. On top of that, it made the idea of re-experiencing a Disney classic in live action a rather fresh concept. Unfortunately, despite turning a huge profit, its biggest selling points turned out to be temporary novelties.
Have I gone mad?
Afraid so. You're entirely bonkers.
Although the film's visuals were fitting for director Tim Burton, the overindulgence in style left much of the story struggling to keep up. In fact, the movie thoroughly misunderstands Lewis Carroll's original text by casting its eccentric characters aside to make way for an out-of-touch story of wearing factions. Suffice it to say, Disney didn't learn many lessons from this one.
All this talk of blood and slaying has put me off my tea.
Number 3. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
The lies I told you were not lies.
You lied to me by telling me the truth?
Yes.
That's very good. May I use that?
I'm sure you will anyway.
Well, of course I will.
Considering this was once the most expensive movie ever made, the executives at Disney probably breathed a sigh of relief when it crossed the billion-dollar threshold. And it's a good thing too, as this unnecessary Pirates of the Caribbean continuation hasn't inspired many rewatches since. On Stranger Tides has an intriguing premise on paper, as Captain Jack Sparrow squaring off against Blackbeard on a hunt for the Fountain of Youth sounds like an adventure for the ages.
I heard where you headed. The fountain. Have you been there? Does his face look like it's been to the Fountain of Youth? Depends on the light.
But the welcome return of Jack and Hector Barbosa were done dirty by the confusing plot and uninteresting new characters. What should have been a back-to-basics quest is instead padded with poorly written humor, underdeveloped action, and enough superfluous side plots to fill a treasure chest.
Jack, I'm starting to think you don't know where you're going.
It's not the destination so much as the journey, they say.
Number 2. Jurassic World Dominion.
I thought you would have chosen a quieter line of work.
I tried. My cousin and I opened the cafe and lasted 3 weeks. The way the world is headed, it's hard to look away.
To paraphrase Ian Malcolm, the producers of the Jurassic World series were so preoccupied with whether or not they could resurrect this franchise that they didn't stop to think if they should. While not without state-of-the-art CGI, Universal's wild overestimation of the saga's critical capabilities reached a fever pitch with this 6th and sadly not final chapter.
See, here's how they get you. They give you so many promotions in a short period of time that it bludgeons your capacity for critical thinking.
Oh my God.
So then there are doors that you don't open, things that you ignore. But mainly, he's exploiting your enchantment with these.
Dominion already does fans a disservice due to the lack of chemistry between its old and new school characters. But in fashioning a plot around a locust plague, it does the unthinkable by making the dinosaurs almost completely irrelevant. Throw in action sequences that really belong in other franchises, and Dominion ironically evolves into one of the power-mad, money-hungry beasts the Spielberg original tried to warn us about.
Unforeseen consequences occur. And every time, every single time, we all act surprised. Because deep down, I don't think that any of us actually believe that these dangers are real.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Transformers: Age of Extinction.
I have sworn to never kill humans. Big mistake. But when I find out who's behind this, he's going to die.
In hindsight, nothing was going to stop Michael Bay from finding new ways to enrage Transformers fans as long as his movies kept making money. 2011's Dark of the Moon should have been all the proof we needed that $1 billion could make up for obnoxious characters and incoherent action. And yet, Age of Extinction took the franchise to an all-time low 3 years later.
You promised me human intelligence. Or is there such a thing?
Quadrupling down on the franchise's biggest flaws, it not only serves up a story more convoluted than the first 3 films combined, but also overhauls its human cast to disastrous effect. The worst part is that Bay lifelessly directs the movie as if box office success is a guarantee and makes all of the wrong choices simply because he can.
When I fixed you, it was for a reward. That was it. That was why. For money. And it was me making a mistake.
Is there a movie you were surprised made $1 billion? Let us know down in the comments.
Did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing it again.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.